The judge, in this case, put the lives of every single person on those aircraft at risk. Did he know how much fuel was in those planes? Did he know the flight conditions? Did he know the weather conditions?
Well, here we are. It's 2025 and a Venezuelan terror organization has the country divided. So, in this video, we will go over the most recent meltdown surrounding this topic, and let me tell you something, it gets very intense, so stick around. Now, before we start the video, as you know, please like the video. It's the #1 way you can help this channel, and it helps others see the videos as well. So let us begin.
If they can just come up and take somebody because they've made a decision that you're supposed to be that person, any one of us could find ourselves being deported.
This morning, hundreds of alleged Venezuelan gang members are waking up in prison in El Salvador.
But don't they have to actually prove that those people are who they say they are and that they've carried out those acts of those criminal acts?
Now, before we get into the full meltdowns, these are the basic arguments from Democrats, and I want you to have some context so this all makes sense. Number 1, what if the Trump administration deports me and you on accident because they thought we were not American citizens? Number 2, admitting that these Venezuelans are in the country illegally, however, are they really involved with a terror organization? And number 3, admitting these Venezuelans are in the country illegally, possibly involved with a terror organization, but we still need due process and extend the period of time for the investigation.
It's quite clear the president believes he is keeping the United States and its citizens safe from non-citizens who are in the country illegally, first of all, and second of all, who have a long history of committing very, very violent acts, from murder to rape to sex trafficking and so on.
But don't they have to actually prove that those people are who they say they are and that they've carried out those acts of those criminal acts?
Well, we know they're violent people because...
How do we know?
Because their records have already been pulled. I mean, these people were violent.
I think that the court,
from where they came from, and now they're here illegally. So
one of the things that happened in court today.
Okay, so let's start here. You can see the divide already between a Republican and a Democrat talking point. On the Republican side, you see we need a rapid response. We need to get these guys out of here. These are designated terror members. But then on the flip side, it's hold on, let's just calm down. We know they're illegal immigrants, but what if they're not that bad? Should we really deport them? We need to take them to court first.
Anything more un-American than that. The Trump administration's immigration policy is a threat to immigrants like criminals. America is too great to fall prey to Donald Trump's anti-immigrant agenda. We need to restore basic humanity to our immigration system, and that starts with repealing the Alien Enemies Act of 1798.
Now, this is where things get even more interesting when you have members of government, Democrats, who are saying Donald Trump should have never invocated the Alien Enemies Act, even though Donald Trump specifically did it to get rid of TDA members in the United States who are terror suspects. This has nothing to do with legal immigration or legal migrants. However, as you can see, we're getting a little bit of the twisted story here.
That's who President Trump has deported from this country. Behind every single one of those terrorists was another future rape victim, another future sex trafficking victim, another future murder victim. And most importantly, every one of those people was here illegally. They have no right to be in this country for 1 second longer. They are illegal aliens, they are foreign terrorists, they are alien enemies.
Now, I think you're going to find this interesting, and there's going to be a really good mic drop here very soon. There is this idea of, well, this is an old law. It's an 18th century law. Do we really still need it in the United States because it's an old law?
Just hours after Donald Trump tried to use an 18th century law to deport 5 Venezuelans, a federal judge halted Trump's order. Now, the White House yesterday invoked what is called the Alien Enemies Act to deport suspected members of a Venezuelan gang. The act hasn't been used since World War II, when it was used as a legal basis to intern people of Japanese, German, and Italian descent.
People say, oh, it's an 18th century law. You know what else is an 18th century law? The Constitution of the United States, the Bill of Rights of the United States, the founding generation gave us this law, gave President Trump this law to repel this invasion from our country.
I mean, there's
and it
no
was
higher...
all detailed in the proclamation how this gang was sent here by a foreign government, and President Trump is sending them out of this country.
Now, this is amazing. You have a chance to win a Cybertruck and $30,000 cash because of my amazing sponsor, 1775 Coffee Company. Now, I sign off on this company legitimately, not with an auto pen, because they actually have good coffee. With an 85 plus cupping score, this means they are specialty grade. They're not just another regular coffee company. I will put their link in my pinned comment and bio for you guys. Now, I'm going to save you 15% off if you use my promo code T-SPLY, all capital letters, T-SPLY, at 1775coffee.com. Go check out their dark roast coffee, their medium roast, but also go check out their Vitality Mushroom Blend, which is packed with lion's mane mushroom. This stuff is proven to help cognitive function, but the really cool part is, for every dollar spent, you have the chance to win a Cybertruck and $30,000 cash at 1775coffee.com. And again, use my promo code T-SPLY for 15% off. Thank you, 1775 Coffee. So again, the idea of trying to trash this law because it's an older law and it wasn't used since World War II, I actually think it gives the law validity to show you how useful it was during a time back in World War II where you could have had these spies or agents try to stir up a little bit of a front in metropolitan areas and the farming areas and try and gain control of the American public to either overturn the government or try to stir some terror within the United States. That is the point of this law, and it could still happen today, which is why it was invocated by Donald Trump. You can leave your opinions down below how you feel about that.
The president has the ability to repel an invasion or predatory incursion that is directed by a foreign
state
government.
or a government, right? Are they a state or a government?
This would be, yes, it is documented. The TDA was sent by the Venezuelan government in the proclamation. And here's an even more important point. Under the Constitution, who makes that determination? A district court judge elected by no one, or the commander-in-chief of the Army and Navy?
Now here's where things are getting kind of crazy. I'm sure many of you are aware that a district judge tried to turn a jet around filled with these Venezuelan terror suspects. However, Donald Trump ignored the order. Now his attorney general is on the case.
Well, you know, the amazing thing about this, Attorney General, is that you've got a local district court judge now who is saying that he can stop the president from enforcing his powers under Article 2 to protect the American people. Number one, will his order, this temporary restraining order on the Alien Enemies Act, will that be, respected going forward? And where does he get this power to stop the president engaging in national security and foreign policy?
Well, that's it. He's attempting to meddle in national security and foreign affairs, and he can't do it. What he's done is an intrusion on the president's authority. You know, this one federal judge, again, thinks he can control foreign policy for the entire country, and he cannot. And right now we're evaluating our options.
Okay, so the administration may continue doing these flights?
Absolutely.
So as you can see, we now have confirmation from Pam Bondi that the Trump administration and the DOJ and Attorney General all find the actions of the district judge to be very unacceptable and really overstepping his boundaries as far as trying to stop an order from the President of the United States and the Commander-in-Chief.
The judge, in this case, put the lives of every single person on those aircraft at risk. Did he know how much fuel was in those planes? Did he know the flight conditions? Did he know the weather conditions? Did he know how many crew hours? Did he know the need for crew rest? Did he know any of that? No. This judge violated the law. He violated the Constitution.
So do
he
you
defied
think that
the system of government that we have in this country.
Because that does seem to be what you're arguing.
These same district court judges didn't do a damn thing to stop Joe Biden from flooding this nation with millions of illegal aliens. Do these district court judges didn't issue any injunctions to save the lives of Jocelyn Nungaray or Laken Riley or anyone else?
Is the federal courts? Is that what you're saying?
Now look, Stephen Miller is the only person I have found so far to actually bring up the point, is it not kind of reckless to sit in your office and make a proclamation, you need to turn this jet around? Do you know what the flight conditions are? Do you know the fuel load? Do you know anything that's happening right now over the air, over international waters, and a district judge is like, you know what, turn it around? That is rather dangerous. And also, I want to point out, these are terror suspects inside the plane. So now we just got them out of the country, but nope, bring them back.
And I want to say this, out of Venezuelans, 0.09 of the Venezuelan immigrants in this country are suspected, not proven, suspected Tren de Aragua. That means that the vast majority who've now had their temporary protective status taken out are good, decent people contributing to this society. Most Venezuelans, I know, Venezuelan Americans in Miami and Doral, actually, where Trump has his club, voted for Trump, big supporters of Trump. And since Trump got in, first thing he did was send Rick Grenell to go negotiate with Maduro, who lost an election, stole it, and Rick Grenell and Trump have legitimized him and normalized him.
Well, can I please
temporary protective status.
Now, this is another talking point that's really being used against the Trump administration, is the almost accusation of, hey, now you're going after Venezuelans specifically, or you're opening up the door to target them specifically just because they are Venezuelan or they might be a part of a gang. Again, it's very important to note that if you are in the country illegally, as we have seen, and you get caught in the country, unfortunately, you end up getting deported. Even if that means you are an outstanding citizen and you are a great person, unfortunately, that is currently what's happening, and not really unfortunately, this is what Republicans voted for and conservatives. Donald Trump has been saying from the very beginning, this is what he was going to do, so it should not be any surprise. However, I'm just trying to show you guys the counter talking point that, hey, now the Trump administration might be trying to target Venezuelans specifically. I have not found any indications that that is happening outside of the scope of this specific terror organization.
But don't they have to actually prove that those people are who they say they are and that they've carried out those acts of those criminal acts?
Well, we know they're violent people because...
How do we know?
Because... because their records have already been pulled. I mean, these people were violent.
I think that the court,
from where they came from, and now they're here illegally. So wouldn't
one of the
you want to
things
keep
that
them here?
happened in court today, well, that's what I'm saying.
Have
One
they
of the
even
things
given
that
us their
happened
identity?
in the court today is that the lawyers for the government couldn't say really who these people were.
And interesting enough, what they tried to use is they said, oh, we're looking at some of their tattoos, which means they have a gang affiliation, so they can be deported. It's a slippery slope that we don't want to open up.
But they're illegal
that's
immigrants,
why we have
right?
a process for everything.
But they're illegal immigrants, yes?
So
well, actually, again,
we don't
know.
The state of affairs.
Now, I just want to point out in this interaction, the CNN news anchors are saying we don't know if they are illegal citizens, but then will also say they were not able to prove that they were legal citizens by merely pointing out the judge couldn't prove it either. I just wanted to throw that out there. Again, you can leave your opinions down below how you feel about it.
And for people who have due process questions about making certain that there wasn't anyone who was swept up who did not meet the criteria that you laid out, is there a way for the administration to provide more detail about how that was determined, who the individuals were that met this deportation order?
Yes, I can assure the American people that Customs and Border Patrol and ICE and the Department of Homeland Security are sure about the identities of the individuals who were on these planes and the threat that they pose to our homeland. They take this incredibly seriously. They are putting their lives on the line to deport these designated from our country, and they should be trusted to do that. And that's exactly what the American people elected this president to do.
What criteria, though, other than, say, tattoos or maybe being in the wrong place at the wrong time, are they using to determine that someone is actually a member of one of these organizations?
Intelligence and the men and women on the ground in the interior of our country who are finally being allowed to do their jobs. Their hands were tied under the previous administration, and as I said, they take their jobs very seriously. They should be trusted and respected by the American public with this operation. And of course, as I said to Kelly, the administration will provide all details to the questions that the court poses.
Look, I'm really not trying to turn this into a broken record. These are the same questions that the Trump administration is being asked, and the left-leaning media is being a little dismissive as far as the ICE agents, the intelligence, and trying to twist this into Donald Trump dismissing a federal judge. Again, I'm just trying to give you guys all of the talking points and viewpoints, and you can leave your opinions down below and form your own opinions.
One is an act of war, which, by the way, an invasion is an act of war, but put that aside. One is an invasion, which this is. One is a predatory incursion, which this is. So it actually meets all three statutory criteria. But with respect to this particular statute, the proclamation is utilizing the incursion and invasion language in the statute.
So,
but this is a very important question, because no, hold on. It's a very important question.
Now, the last thing I want to point out is not all three of these specifications need to be met as far as Donald Trump's legal ability to implement this policy. It has to hit one of the three. According to Stephen Miller, he's seeing all three. It depends on how you see the 10 million people coming into the country illegally. Do you see it as an invasion? Yes or no? However, what makes this even more interesting is that these specific Venezuelan terror members are in the country illegally anyway. So no matter what, let's say the absolute worst case scenario, they got this all wrong. Even if they are in the country illegally, they can still be deported legally. So you can see how all of this is almost a waste of time. And it's just like a left versus right issue once again, like we always see in the United States. So anyway, I really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you guys for everything. God bless. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you guys later.